Hello, my name is Jonathan Solon, and welcome to the Kendall Train. I am so excited to start this episode, the first episode tracing my genealogy on my mother's side. We will begin with my great grandparents, starting with Landy Haven Kendall. Landy Haven, a Methodist minister. What a guy. With a name like Landy Haven, you can't go wrong. I can tell you agree. Hop on board. So, where are we and who are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the Reverend Landy Haven Kendall, who would be my great grandfather, the father of Charles Schilling Kendall, my mom's father. We're going to dive into that, but first, a quick clarification. In one of my early videos, I did one on Charles Kendall and Mary Lou. And one of the things that happened in their lives is they were pastoring a church in Massachusetts and got a telegram asking them to take a church in Los Angeles. And what I didn't know then is I thought the telegram came out of the blue. It didn't come out of the blue. Charles had written letters to the different conferences in the Methodist Church. I'm not sure how many, but he did write from Massachusetts, hoping to move west, closer to family. And it was the bishop in California that invited Charles and Mary Lou to come to Los Angeles. So just wanted to make that clarification. What I've really enjoyed about making these videos is getting a better understanding of the nurture and nature environment that have allowed my mom and dad, and in fact my grandparents, to become the people that they were. And how did that happen? And how did they learn those behaviors? If you know my mom, you know that she has an unbelievably upbeat spirit. She is always positive with a can-do attitude every single day, every hour. Where did she get that? Well, in part, she got it from her dad, Charles Schilling. I'm going to share with you now a letter that Charles, my grandfather, wrote to my mom that shares a little bit about this, and I believe says a lot about our subject of today's video, Landy Haven. I'm going to put it up here so that you can go ahead and read it. And if you need to put pause, push pause so you can read this whole beautiful letter. So who was Landy Haven? Well, Landy Haven was born and would die in Indiana. He would be the fifth of 8 children born to Aaron Kendall and his mother, Lavina Reed. He would become a Methodist minister and serve pastors across the state of Indiana. In 1904, Landy Haven would marry Edith Pearl Reed. And one of the mysteries to me is she would pass away at the young age of 48, and Landy Haven would not remarry. I have looked and done research on Edith Pearl, but just have not been able to find any information. But I have to imagine that her personality combined with Landy Haven, again, provided that positive, loving environment for my grandfather, Charles Schilling. Landy Haven and Edith Pearl would have 3 children. My grandfather was the oldest. Then was William Kendall and their daughter Helen. William would also be a Methodist minister, and Helen would be active in the church as well. Landy Haven loved being a Methodist minister, and he was tickled, I'm sure, that his 2 sons were Methodist ministers. Also, take a look at these great articles of him coming out west to preach with his son and substitute and go to Methodist functions with his sons, I'm sure. But it was great articles of preaching the word together. Now, I just remembered that I've actually got footage of my mom's graduation in Landy Haven. So this is Landy Haven And his second wife, I didn't realize that, but I learned that he had a second wife, Ruth, and Uncle Phil and Uncle Trav, and my mom and grandpa and grandmother, all enjoying the celebration of my mom's graduation. Now, Landy Haven would pass away in 1965. I'm going to put up here his obituary, a fine history of his life of service across Indiana. Here is a picture of his stone. He would be buried next to his first wife, Edith Pearl, even though she would have passed away just under 30 years prior to his death. One last item about Landy Haven that I can tell you from childhood is that when my mother would tell stories about Landy Haven, she would say that he did not have all of his fingers on his left hand, and that when he told stories, he enjoyed animating them with the stump of a left hand that only had two fingers on it. And he would hold the hand up and go, "Awooja, awooja." I'm not entirely certain what that means, but it was a lasting memory from her and for us about Landy Haven, who did not have all of his fingers. That story will be told, how he lost his fingers, in our next episode on Landy Haven's father, Aaron Kendall. Until next time, awooja. Hop on board the Soul Train.
State of Arkansas, where my great-grandpa met my great-grandma. They drink apple cider and they get on a jag, and they dance all night to the salty dog rag. They play an old fiddle like you never heard before. They play the only tune that they ever did know. It's a ragtime ditty and the rhythm don't drag. Now here's the way you dance to the salty dog rag.